millions have been infected. Job losses have rose to record levels. And millions, of course, are struggling to make ends meet. And the systemic problems in our society have never been so glaringly obvious. And that work will continue to go forward as we continue to address systemic racism and work to strengthen police and community relations. Make no mistake, our world has changed forever, and we have changed with it. Here in San Diego, this pandemic has tested our strength. It has tried our patience. It has challenged our resolve. And by keeping us apart, it is only highlighted how important it is that we work together. We have shown that when San Diego stands united in common cause, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. We aren't out of the woods yet when it comes to COVID-19, not by a long shot. But if we take a moment to reflect, the facts clearly show that San Diegans have flattened the curve and have helped to slow the spread of this virus. My message was very clear from the beginning. Fear was the enemy, and facts was what was going to get us through this. Every decision that we have made has been based on data, science, and partnership with our public health officials. With your cooperation and your support, we took decisive action to prevent our hospitals from becoming overwhelmed. And the most important resource that we needed was time. Time for our healthcare system to prepare. Initial projections showed how just deadly this virus could have been. But San Diego, you gave us the time that we needed. And you're still taking precautions, like facial coverings and physical distancing. You're doing it because you realize that this is bigger than any one of us individually. It's about protecting your friends, your family, your neighbors, and your coworkers. And these combined efforts have led us to this moment, this turning point. As you know, I've been pushing for state and local control to reopen safely and responsibly. We've proven here in San Diego that we will do the right thing if given the opportunity to do so. Just look at our Safe Beach Plan, the first in the state and replicated by other cities. Now we've been given another opportunity. Starting tomorrow, the San Diego region will enter the next phase of reopening. Some of the last remaining industries can come back online, including bars, gyms, hotels, and movie theaters. This is a big step forward. And the next steps after this depend not on government, they will depend on each of us. This next phase of reopening is all about personal responsibility and accountability, to not take unnecessary risks that could put others in harm's way. This is crucial because we do not want to and we will not give up the gains that we have made as a city. The most important factor in making sure that we continue moving forward is not to overwhelm our hospital system. There's only so much capacity. It's happened in other parts of the world. We cannot allow that to happen in San Diego. We know more people will get sick, and unfortunately this disease will claim more lives. But we still have the power over what happens next. Through the actions we take, we can keep these numbers as low as possible. We also know that there are segments of our local economy that remain closed. Nail salons, for example. And I'll keep fighting so everyone has the opportunity to get back to work safely. And just as San Diego led going into this crisis, we are leading coming out of it. We've gotten to this point by working together. We've shown that San Diego's strength in the face of adversity, and we will emerge from this crisis stronger than ever as one San Diego. With one of the last remaining swaths of our economy safely reopening tomorrow, today marks the final daily briefing that I will be giving in this format. But that doesn't mean the work stops. We will continue to provide regular updates to the public, and trust me, there is much more on the horizon. I now want to take a moment to share some important information as we continue to recover from this crisis. In total, the City of San Diego and its partners have injected more than $85 million to help San Diego recover. Small businesses shuttered and lost income to sustain their operations. Over $20 million has been made available to keep them afloat. Homeless individuals on the street were most susceptible. $40 million has been directed to help get them off the street. And essential workers needed help by juggling duties at home and on the front lines. And with the county, we combined work together to make $10 million available for child care and essential workers. Renters continue to be vulnerable and missing their next rent check. We've dedicated as a city $15 million in rent relief in the budget that I just signed. And struggling artists and nonprofits were among the hardest hit, and we've secured over $1 million to stabilize this very important industry. We've also reformed city policies to provide relief. Parking fees were stopped. Building and business permits were extended. Evictions were put on a moratorium. And utility shutoffs and late fees were suspended. Streets are being reclaimed for outdoor recreation, dining, and, as I said, recreation. And I want to thank our City Council President Gomez and the entire City Council and our City Attorney. Their partnership, as we have moved through this together as a city, has made so much of this response possible. And as a reminder, San Diegans who want to access the relief funds can go to sandiego.gov/coronavirus. And I also want to touch on today's briefing on one of the most visible efforts during this pandemic, which is Operation Shelter to Home at the Convention Center. COVID-19 posed a huge risk of infection with our homeless population. I want to thank our regional partners for joining the city and taking swift action to prevent it from taking hold in our homeless community. We worked with the county to deploy nurses to screen and monitor individuals. We placed hand washing stations all across the city. And we completely reimagined our bridge shelter system. And Operation Shelter to Home at the Convention Center was a real game changer. It allowed more space for physical distancing, more efficient staffing, and more capacity, of course, to bring people in off the streets, people who had never been to one of our shelters before. We have nearly 1,300 individuals, including more than 500 who are now in safe, sanitary conditions off the streets. Over 2,700 tests have been administered to clients and staff, and only 6 asymptomatic positives have come back. This low number is a rate of only 0.2%. It's really due to all of the safety measures that are in place at the operation. The Convention Center is more than just a temporary shelter. It is a pathway to permanent housing. And I said it yesterday, but I think it bears repeating. 114 individuals have already moved out of the Convention Center and into housing. And another 550 staying at the Convention Center are matched with a housing resource and will soon be in a home of their own. It's exactly what this effort was all about. And as I said back in March when this first started, what was once a welcoming beacon for people from around the globe, our Convention Center, has now been a beacon of hope during this crisis. This has been an incredible partnership, and of course, it is still ongoing. So I want to thank a few folks and organizations that have really made this incredible vision a reality. The County of San Diego Health and Human Services, the San Diego Housing Commission, the San Diego Task Force on the Homeless, our San Diego Fire Rescue Department, including our lifeguards, San Diego Police Department, all of the staff at the San Diego Convention Center, the City of San Diego employees from Homeless Strategies Division, Park and Rec, and our libraries who have been at the Convention Center for weeks. And of course, our service providers, many of whom you have had a chance to hear from during these briefings, including Father Joe's Villages, Veterans Villages of San Diego, and Alpha Project. San Diego is still the only big county in the state that has seen a homelessness decrease for the second year in a row. And I believe that these efforts are really going to help quicken our progress, because there's a lot more progress we have to make. More updates on that in the coming weeks. So where do we go from here? As I've said, we've done a lot at flattening the curve, but experts agree that this pandemic won't end until we have therapeutics or a vaccine. And this is another front line on this fight. That San Diego, as we've talked about, has a rich history of changing the medical world. And I know and I believe that we are poised to do it once again. Local companies are creating the testing, the treatments, and the vaccines that will ultimately save lives. It's a long list, a great list. Inovio, Arcturus, Sorrento Therapeutics, Helix, UC San Diego Health, the Scripps Research Institute, and Illumina are to name just a few. And they're working right now to find that solution that's going to help us tomorrow. They're working today to do that. And I've had the opportunity to see some of their work up close and personal. And I can tell you I'm absolutely blown away by their progress. Great San Diegans that are working day and night. And by their resolve, you can see it, their resolve to beat this virus. Their work, this groundbreaking medical work in San Diego, is going to change how we address, adapt, and overcome not just this crisis, but I think future health crises as well. And so to our entire scientific and research community, I say thank you. I say thank you on behalf of all San Diegans for the incredible work that you are doing right now. But before I conclude for today, I want to thank you. The pandemic left many people struggling and in need of immediate help, and that is still ongoing. When the call came out, so many San Diegans answered. You gave to others in need. You donated food. You are creating handmade masks. You called to check on friends and family. People have been changing their daily lives, found new ways to celebrate birthdays and graduations. Everybody discovered Zoom, but of course not, not the mute button. But you've really pivoted our operations as a city. And businesses. Distilleries changed operations to make hand sanitizer. Others manufacture personal protective equipment for essential workers. What it's about San Diegans helping San Diegans. And now that most of our businesses, with the exception of a few, will be reopening tomorrow, I want to say thank you. Thank you for all of our first responders. Thank you to our doctors, our nurses, our teachers, our grocery store workers, those keeping the lights on and our water running. Thank you to our 11,000 city employees, many of whom pivoted from their daily jobs to provide critical services to residents and those that needed that help. And of course, our city TV crew here that made these briefings possible every day. And thank you to every San Diegan. Our city stepped up, and our city continues to step up. We flattened the curve, and we've shown the world our true compassionate spirit. So thank you. As I said earlier, this will mark the final daily briefing that I will be giving in this format. But I'm looking forward to getting out of City Hall and being with everyone out in the community a little bit more. And I look forward to providing the regular updates on COVID-19, on reopenings of our business, on public safety, and our continued equity reforms. Thank you, San Diegans. Thank you for your continued help and the support with the reopenings tomorrow. It's a very important milestone once again that I know we will rise to the occasion and keep all of us safe and healthy, because at the end of the day, that's what all of our collective effort has been about and will continue to be about as we get through COVID-19 together. And with that, I will pause for any questions from members of the media.
And today's first question comes from Anthony Pura with ABC 10 News.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Mayor. My question is, have you seen the plan from the San Diego Pride organizers and the request they've made of law enforcement for the next Pride event? What are your thoughts or comments on the request that they've made?
Yeah, no, thank you for the question, Anthony. I have, and I think it's important that our officers who have so proudly supported LGBTQ and Pride, I think it's important that they continue to work together. There's been a rich history And that's the type of thing that we want, is our officers working with the community, being a part of the community. And when we do that, we learn from each other, we share from each other, and the more that we can continue to do that in the future, I think serves our city very, very well. Thank you. I think that was our only question today. Thank you, San Diegans. Thank you for continuing to do the right thing. More information to come. Thank you very much.